speak to Burkina Faso's sovereignty. They maintain their sovereignty. They make their decisions how they use their resources. They make their decisions who their resources go to for military support. That's their sovereign right. But my cautionary tale was just from a military perspective. That was a Senate Armed Services Committee asking me a direct question. Burkina Faso, a lot of great things going on to progress them forward, okay? But then when you look at the military part of it, knowing that that's the epicenter of global terrorism, it was my time to illuminate that this is probably their weakest point in their
Africa Connect News is your #1 news. We use credible sources, official statements, and verified online content for educational, analytical, and informational use. Accuracy is not guaranteed. Viewers should verify independently. We do not promote hate, violence, misinformation, or political unrest. Our aim is to offer context-rich insights, amplify local voices, and support informed dialogue in Africa and beyond. Viewer discretion advised.
What hurt me the most wasn't that he's a general, or that he's American. What truly hurt me is that he's black. It's deeply painful to see a black man being used to fight against another black man. And this isn't something new. But now, it has to stop. This is very dangerous. Even in the case of Libya, to destroy Libya, they also used a black man. This kind of manipulation must end. I believe he should make a public apology. He spoke about Burkina Faso's gold, claiming it's being used to protect something. But that gold belongs to Burkina Faso, it's not his. That's the first thing. It's none of his business, and he needs to stop. The black race must no longer be used to destroy itself. Maybe they're trying to make amends through back channels, but no, what was said publicly must be corrected publicly. Africa understands. The black youth all over the world understands.
Let me speak to Burkina Faso's sovereignty. They maintain their sovereignty. They make their decisions how they use their resources. They make their decisions who their resources go to for military support. That's their sovereign right. But my cautionary tale was just from a military perspective. That was a Senate Armed Services Committee asking me a direct question. Burkina Faso, a lot of great things going on to progress them forward, okay? But then when you look at the military part of it, knowing that that's the epicenter of global terrorism, it was my time to illuminate that this is probably their weakest point, and there needs to be sufficient resources going towards for the whole fight of terrorism in that country, period. They make their decisions, though. That's their sovereignty, their sovereign right to make their decisions, what is appropriate, what's not. But I wanted to illuminate that it's going in the wrong direction now. ISIS is getting stronger. JNIM is getting stronger. Al-Qaeda in the lands of the Maghreb is getting stronger in that country.
And do you think it's getting stronger after General Traoré took over?
It has. Just look at the numbers of attacks. It really has, since 2022. I've been tracking this since I took command. So, no ill will towards him, but the decisions is their own. They're looking for other ways to be able to, they're still on warfighting footing, but it's just going to take more resources.
So you stand by that statement? Because there's been pressure on you to walk those statements back.
That's my statement. That's my assessment. that is getting worse, more needs to be done for not just local, but whole of country, because of these violent extremist organizations are seeking revenue, they're seeking resources, they're seeking recruiting from the Burkinabe people, and they're seeking refuge within their country. That threatens their sovereignty.
And that threatens America's interest?
Say again?
Does that then threaten America's interests?
Yes, thank you for asking that. Because especially ISIS, and of course in East Africa is inextricably linked all the way to ISIS West Africa, ISIS Sahel, and there's going to be probably a move afoot for them to move and seek refuge within the line. So we have shared objectives, and we offer to work together with the Burkina government and border countries. Mali, Niger, coastal West Africa countries collective, because here's what these organizations do. Here's what these terrorist organizations do. They seek refuge in the seams or the borders of these countries and lets them thrive and grow and lets them recruit, gain resources to carry on their illicit and nefarious activities against the populations of those people.
And what would America, perhaps AFRICOM, be prepared to do? Would you be considering an ouster like we saw with Muammar Gaddafi in Libya? Because there's still many Africans who are yet to recover from that. If this is a bigger threat, as you say, in Burkina Faso, what is AFRICOM prepared to do about it?
We do indications and warnings. There's a number of activities that we do, and we'll just go ahead and mention building institutional capacity. There's not going to be U.S. boots on the ground. Very, very small for exchange of ideas and training, exercises. Over time, that builds institutional capacity and capability in these armies.
In a strong show of support for African-led security and economic development, General Michael E. Langley, Commander of U.S. Africa Command, AFRICOM, visited Kenya this week to engage with top Kenyan defense officials, civil society leaders, and regional experts on bolstering African security and prosperity. General Langley's visit underscored a shift in U.S. policy toward empowering African nations like Kenya, and notably, Burkina Faso, to take the lead in tackling both security and economic challenges in a rapidly evolving global landscape. A partnership for African-led security. At the heart of General Langley's discussions was the critical role African nations play in ensuring their own security. In Nairobi, Langley met with Kenya's Chief of Defense Forces, General Charles Kahiriri, to discuss joint efforts against violent extremism, particularly in the Horn of Africa, and the importance of African leadership in regional peace initiatives. This visit is about partnership, Langley emphasized during a press conference. Kenya, along with countries like Burkina Faso, has shown remarkable leadership in addressing security threats and contributing to peacekeeping efforts across the continent. Our goal is to support, not supplant, Africa's own security frameworks. A spotlight on Burkina Faso's resilience. Although General Langley's itinerary focused on Kenya, his visit also drew attention to Burkina Faso's ongoing efforts to strengthen its national defense and governance structures amid regional challenges. Burkina Faso's recent initiatives in community-based security, anti-terrorism efforts, and democratic governance reflect the country's commitment to stability despite facing threats from extremist groups. Analysts point out that Burkina Faso's progress is a testament to the resilience and agency of African nations in managing their own destinies. We see Burkina Faso as a model of local ownership in security solutions, said a senior African Union official. They have shown that African problems need African solutions, and General Langley's visit reinforces this approach. investing in Africa's future. General Langley also highlighted economic development as a cornerstone of security. Speaking at a roundtable with Kenyan entrepreneurs and youth leaders, he emphasized the importance of partnerships in trade, technology, and infrastructure that create jobs and reduce the conditions that fuel extremism. Security is not just about troops. It's about creating opportunities for the next generation, Langley said. We want to work with Africa's youth, including those in Burkina Faso, to build a future where every young person can thrive. A new chapter in U.S.-Africa relations. Observers noted that Langley's visit marks a departure from outdated, one-sided approaches to U.S.-Africa relations. Instead of imposing solutions, AFRICOM is now working to support African-led initiatives in peace and security. Today's visit shows that Africa is not a problem to be solved, but a partner to be empowered, said Dr. Fatoumata Diallo, a regional security analyst. Burkina Faso's and Kenya's leadership in regional security is exactly the kind of success story we need to amplify. As General Langley concluded his visit, he reiterated AFRICOM's commitment to a partnership that prioritizes African voices and solutions. Our role is to listen, to learn, and to support, because Africa's success is our shared success, he said. Under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traore, the country has emerged as a symbol of resilience and African sovereignty in the face of external pressures and security threats. Today, more than ever, it is imperative that African nations unite in solidarity to protect Burkina Faso and its people, ensuring that the continent's future is decided by Africans, for Africans. A leader who embodies African sovereignty. Since assuming leadership in September 2022, Captain Ibrahim Traore has inspired millions across Africa with his firm commitment to self-determination and Pan-African ideals. Unlike many leaders who have leaned on external powers for solutions, Traore has championed homegrown strategies to address terrorism, poverty, and political instability. Under his leadership, Burkina Faso has launched community-based security initiatives, invested in local economic development, and reaffirmed its commitment to African unity. Traore's vision is clear. Only Africans can truly understand and solve African challenges. A target of external pressure. Burkina Faso's bold stance has not come without challenges. As the country pushes back against external meddling and neo-colonial influence, it faces increased pressure from international actors who seek to impose their own solutions. These external forces have often failed to grasp the complexities of Burkina Faso's unique situation, overlooking the importance of local ownership and community-led governance. This external pressure threatens not just Burkina Faso, but the principle of African sovereignty itself. An attack on one African nation's right to self-determination is an attack on all. The need for African unity. Now is the time for African nations to rally around Burkina Faso and Captain Traore. African leaders must recognize that their strength lies in unity, not division. The challenges Burkina Faso faces, from terrorism to economic hardship, are challenges that know no borders. If one African country is destabilized, it creates ripple effects across the continent. An attack on Burkina Faso's sovereignty sets a dangerous precedent. It signals to the world that Africa's independence can be undermined through pressure and intimidation. By standing together, African nations send a powerful message. Africa will not allow itself to be divided or dictated to. Burkina Faso, a beacon of Pan-Africanism. Captain Ibrahim Traore's leadership resonates with the Pan-African ideals championed by visionaries like Kwame Nkrumah and Thomas Sankara. Burkina Faso's commitment to African solutions for African problems has reignited a spirit of continental pride and self-reliance. Supporting Burkina Faso is not just an act of solidarity. It is a declaration of Africa's right to shape its own destiny. It is an affirmation that Africa's future lies in the hands of its own people, not in the dictates of distant capitals. A call to action. African governments, regional bodies like the African Union, and grassroots organizations must stand firm in defending Burkina Faso's sovereignty. Diplomatic support, economic cooperation, and security collaboration are all essential in ensuring that Burkina Faso remains a proud, independent voice for African self-determination. As Captain Traore himself has stated, Africa must stand together or fall divided. The time has come for Africa to choose unity over division, solidarity over subjugation, and sovereignty over dependence. Burkina Faso's struggle is Africa's struggle. Let us stand united. Burkina Faso's fight is our fight. That's all for now on Africa Connect News. Thank you for staying informed with us. For more updates, context-rich insights, and authentic African perspectives, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Until next time, stay connected, stay informed, and above all, stay proudly African. This is Africa Connect News.